No, it's crazy to see how the game. I even saw last year with La Rochelle where they started to play a more like keeping the ball alive type of game, and in France it's known as le jeu toulousain, so it's the way Toulouse plays, keeping the jeu debout, keeping the ball alive, and it does create a lot of problems on defense. I would expect that seeing that attack is leveling up at the moment, you do actually see more precise kick passes at the moment. Players are scanning slightly a bit better at the moment, where before they were very robotical, but it has evolved. But I actually got this question. You're talking about this, the offloads and behind the back passes, and we see Toulouse is very good with that. How do you defend it? How do you defend a team that manages to get their arms free, get that pass after contact, and get those little offloads, because I think that's a tricky one. You can have all the systems in place, but there's a lot of things that come into play.
Well, it is tricky. So going on for your point is, I'll say how to stop it just in the next part. But the first part is what you're saying is that the roboticalness has gone. So training, scenario planning, people used to say, play many moves in these scenarios when they exist, but no one could really execute it. Like you say now, if you look at England, they're scoring kick passes from a failed scrum play into Urbano looks up. Sorry, no, what's his name? The guy who played 12 up. It's just his name.
I didn't watch that game.
Okay, but basically,
Mr. X.
Yeah, sorry, just baby brain. But they execute a scrum move that breaks down. He catches ball, just looks up and just puts kick pass in, and man, he catches it and scores, because they're playing the impromptu kick pass, the little chip over the top from a mid ruck, etc., all the time now. So all options are live, all options are realistic, and the executability is there. How do you shut it down? I would say initially, first of all, is defense has got to be 10 times more proactive than it's ever been in terms of understanding pictures, setting up ambushes, which we'll talk about now. Plays unfolding, the ability to see 2-3 steps ahead like a chess master is massive. You can't no longer just look in front. You're looking at the playmaker's body language, how deep he is off his pod. Has he promoted himself and got how many numbers he's got outside? All these things, it's 2-3 steps ahead in your vision in real time. What am I seeing? What do I anticipate to happen? And the anticipation for the defense has to go through the roof. That's number one, from a systems, shape, containment point of view. And from a physicality point of view, you really got to go back to stifling them from offloads, as in hitting on the ball, choke tackles, not allowing guys to get free. Because even when they hit now, if you notice how they fight and rip, and then it's a little pop pass, guys are popping with their fingers. Like in the old days, you'd say, if you offload, you have to break through contact. You have to be able to see the guy's face, take a Kodak moment, so take a photograph of his face, and then offload, with him in sight. Now that's all gone to pot. I wallop you, and you can just get a finger through. It's totally acceptable to flick it with your fingers. Doesn't even go to hand, bounces, and he flicks it again. Yeah. So how do you contain that? You got to make sure when you hit, he stays hit, and you stay in the strangle, and there's no getting your little fingers through, because that one little pop to him just ends up in 5 more pops, and you're in behind, like you say, Toulouse. And I mean, the French teams that play up the short corridors, picking out the ruck, playing off 9, little guy off the shoulder, next guy off the shoulder, late inside ball, land, pop again. That's already a nightmare. But now they can do it in the wider channels with wide shape too. So it's either trench warfare or proper shape across the park. So you're going against width, then you're going against tight channel warfare. So attack is pretty much, they're doing both in one game, just like that. Whereas stylistically before, I'd be a 1-3-3-1 or 2-4-2 or hybrid thereof, and I wouldn't be a trench warfare team. Whereas now I go for trench warfare to my wide shape and back again, all in the same game. So defense's adaptability to be on it, it's gotten to another level, and setting your own traps and things like that, which we can talk about. If you're not setting traps for the attack, they're setting traps for you. It's easy as that.
Yeah. No, listen, there's so many things I want to pick on there, but I think you just mentioned something there. Now you have to apply choke tackles. You need to try and stop the offloads. And with a bit of retrospect, now if you think about it, actually, doesn't that play also a part where we are seeing these head-to-head contacts? And that's kind of like they want us to play a more attacking style of rugby. So shouldn't we just accept in a way that is an indirect consequence of, because now for defense to stop the offloads, to stop the attacking threats, now they have to resort to the choke tackles. They have to actually attack the ball, and not you've got to defend the ball and not defend the player. So what's your point of view of that?
Yeah, well, the point of view is I think you're suddenly seeing the volume of upstairs tackles going back up, like you say, because the tackle jackal thing, let's be honest, It's dangerous for many reasons. I low tackle. As you low tackling, hands are free the whole time, better than ever. And not just two guys who could do it. It's like the whole tight five can even do it. You look at the Springboks before they even land. You know, it's his name on whoever it is on the ball, from Damien to Mbanambi to everyone. You give them a second, they're going to offload. So tackling the legs is no point. And if they land without offloading, by the time the jackal comes in, the attacking breakdown so aggressive, so well trained these days. The guys are so technical, they just take you away. Boom, balls up again. So for sure, you have to hit on the ball, break the ball carrier's posture, because it's all about, if the ball carrier can impose his posture on you, he decides where to go and he can land and place and offload as he pleases. So you have to hit on the ball, but you have to develop that as a skill. You know, your fly check to the limit, level change and hit. I mean, we've been using the word, I'm hearing it all over the place. Level change. We talk about level change in 2004 because obviously it comes from wrestling. I've been wrestling my whole life. You know, to level change, so I can see you eyeball to eyeball, level change and hit you through the ball. That type of techers, you have to be working at the high level. You can hit, like I remember with Worcester at one stage, we had 4,500 tackles. I think like 4,300 were upstairs. We made 700 dominant hits that year, which was the most in the league with, I think, 1 yellow card. So you can train your fundamentals to be high level, and you're going to have to go back to that if you want to stop this basketball piggy in the middle. I've been calling it piggy in the middle because I go basketball to him, catches basketball straight back to me, like a 1-2-1-2, and they're getting away with it because guys are coming in and attacking the hip. So you 1-2s over him to the next guy, and if they do another 1-2, they're down the track. It's dry. So for sure, you've got to block the ball.
Yeah, it actually makes me think because, you know, we've been focusing a lot on, you know, situational awareness when it comes to attack, but it's got me thinking in the actual collision, you know, because if we look at all the red cards, even when players are now making the effort to drop their height, you know, I think firstly, how do you help a 2-meter plus player drop his height even more? And I'm not here to discuss the credibility of the red cards we saw in the November test match, because that is a problem, because taller guys, they have to make the effort, but sometimes it might not be enough. But I think because, as you mentioned, players are now spinning around in the tackle. They are fending guys off. They're constantly changing direction. They are finding that point of weakness in defense. So actually now we actually need to improve the situational awareness of the tackler so that he can be more precise in the collision, so that it doesn't just go to that red brain, I just want to smoke the guy. But how can we help players to improve that intelligence in that situation? Because it is a pity. I have a different point of view. I do believe priority needs to be the player and safety, you know, the safety of the players. That's very important. But I always use this as an example. A boxer goes into the ring. He knows he's going to get hit in the head. You know, MMA fight, he goes into the cage. You know, he can lose his life. So I do believe we all know what the risks are. And we want to make sure that the game, it remains relevant, and the game that we all love. It's about the collisions, about the contact. It's about the set piece. I mean, we have just had a great discussion yesterday on the rugby pod, and they spoke about World Rugby that wants to depower the scrum.
Yeah,
so I said, what are you guys thinking? Depower the scrum? That means the Springboks will have more energy to run at you and to smash you on the fence.
So by upside and downside, isn't it?
So by depowering the scrum, you're giving more energy to forward. So, but yeah, I wanted to hear by you. What do you think? How can we help players to improve their situational awareness in that collision, which happens like that in a split second?
Well, I think situational awareness comes in 2 points, like off the ball situational awareness. What is the shape in front of me? What's my role in shutting it down? Can I get there quicker and initiate on them before they initiate on me? And it's not just about taking time and space. That's too easy. What does taking time and space mean? It's about, I recognize a ball carrier is looking in, say, play me. Where am I in relation, spacing alignment to him? If I'm an outside shoulder, and as he catches, I arrive quicker than he can catch the ball, and I can have the time to smoke him because I've anticipated, that's better, right? If the guy carries on the out and I fly to the check zone, and as he dips, I can catch him on the hip without hitting head contact. Or, you know, very tall guys they barrel over the top and they catch the hips and then they drive him back.
Yeah.
I'll do that because I've recognized the shape. I know exactly who I'm taking, and I get there quicker than they can execute. That's one thing. Then there's a sensibility on the ball in the tackle. You know, when I want to break your posture, I have to be able to break your posture, win the posture battle, and then stay on you like sticky tape, like glue, stick on you like a fly on shit. So, you know, you run at me, you duck over, I've hit you, I break your posture, and now you want to spin out. That sensibility to cut the corner, get my hips in tight, get a tricep. And as you want to spin out, feel that you want to spin out again, get your shorts and keep my head tight and tucked in so that like I'm always steering you. That is an art form that very few guys can do. Because the first up shots have improved, for example, with certain teams around the world. A lot of functional explosive conditioning. People are copycatting. You look at how guys are hitting shields. They're hitting them probably with the best technique I've seen in a long time globally at all levels. But you've got to be careful of how you train this stuff, because if I watch guys hit Thai pads or boxers hit pads, right? There's some amateurs that hit pads very beautifully now, like compared to 10 years ago. And it's like, bah, 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 bah. But you see them sparring and they're still jarring away when the real fight comes. So, but be careful of being shield champions. And then when we come into the dynamic contact where there's a knobbly elbow and the guy's spinning out, he's trying to get his hand free and you have to tuck under. And when you drive the tricep, you're getting under him and driving him in a way that as you feel his posture breaks and he moves the other way, you're cutting that corner. That is like a whole different art form. And then you're still getting him to the ground in a way that you're landing on top, you're taking space, you're taking guys away, all your hands are on the ball. So the pictures and the sensation is around the picture before the time off the ball, in my shape, knowing my role. But when I'm in there, do I have the sensibility and the tools to cut him off from an offload and then a pop off the floor and then quick ball off the ground and so on and so forth? Because you need 3-4 layers of tools to stop offload, momentum, continuity, and speed of ball. It can't be hit, fall, and I compete, it clears me out. That was my only option. Once I get hold of him, it's got to feel like a street fight where from the time I touch him to the time he hits the ground, it's like I put poison in his veins. And it just feels like I can't spin, I can't go this way. I'm going to have to turn and go down. And when he turns and goes down, I'm lighting up, I'm pushing back even quicker. Because when a ball carrier's posture is broken, he wants to place. And when he wants to place is when you light up, you don't let go of him, because then he can do what he wants. And so that sensibility is important.